Hello, it is I, the real Randy Chavez, going over some Pokemon sales data today. We have a Tyranitar from Neo Discovery, first edition PSA 10, sold for $1,630. I believe that is a new record price point. The last one I think sold for 12 something, 1,200. So this one, God, he's increasing by so much. There's so much that I want to buy, but I just can't because I just blew my whole load on that Misty's Golduck. Magnemite, first edition, PSA 10, sold for $182. That was for Neo Discovery as well. Kabutops, also from Neo Discovery. This one, I have to check the numbers on it because the Kabutops from Fossil will probably get about 500 to 550. First edition PSA 10, but from Neo Discovery, first edition PSA 10, sold for $800. Fudge. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. It's almost $1,000 card. From Neo Discovery, and I feel like Neo Discovery, I even told my friend Joe this a couple weeks ago, that's probably going to be the next set to, because, I mean, Gym Challenge rose a lot, and then Neo Genesis rose a lot, and he was trying to get a bunch of 9s from there. I was like, dude, you better get that quick, because that's the next set that's going to blow up, and it has. I feel like that's been an unpopular set for so long. Not unpopular, just not as wanted as the other sets, and, goddamn. So we have moving on to Neo Genesis, we had a Togetic first edition PSA 10 sold for $560. We had a Steelix first edition PSA 10 sold for $258. I think one sold for like 3 something like the other week. So there's only 3 that you could buy right now. One's listed at like $1,000, like no one's gonna pay that. One's listed at like $548 or best offer from Britain, so it's like $50 shipping, and then the other's listed for $500. That is me. I didn't put any best offer on it because even if it's not worth it right now. One, it's a very good 10, but it will be worth that eventually. So instead of like trying to play catch up and trying to list things, I'll list it now. I'll wait probably a couple weeks for the price to get there, and then okay, it's already sold. Whatever. After that, we had a Skarmory from Neo Genesis, first edition PSA 10, sold for $605. Meganium number 11, so the one that is more common, more plentiful, is not as rare as Meganium number 10, but as first edition PSA 10, still sold for $910. I want to say that the Meganium number 10, it was listed at like $9,999. I don't think it ever sold. But I would say that's like a $5,000 to $7,000 card as well. So whoever gets that, good on you. After that, there's an Ampharos first edition PSA 10, 404. I want to kill myself for selling mine so early, but so that's a record price point. Reach the 400s. Ampharos is a beast. Like, it is the first card in the set. It is one of the first Pokemon you can get in Gen 2. And in Gen 2, well, first new Pokemon, you get obviously your starter, and then you can get a Rattata, a Sentret, I guess you can get. You can get a Geodude. Then you get some bug Pokemon, maybe in what's Ariados's first form. I forget that little spider's name. Ariados's first form, the base form, is a that you can get as well. But really, again, Sentret, even though I love, that was one of my best Pokemon. I nicknamed it Sammy, and got like at level 100, had 359 health. I use it kind of as an HM slave because it knew Cut, it knew Strength, it knew Surf. But yeah, that's another thing. Sentret can learn Surf. So if it knows Return, stab bonus. Surf, no one's going to expect that thing to learn Surf. And then same thing, Strength, stab bonus. So really good, really versatile. It's very, very quick. Most of the times it'll go first because of its speed. But anyway, outside of that, after you beat Faulkner, the gym, you go to Sprout Tower. One of the first Pokemon you can get right after your first badge is a little Mareep, a little cute electric sheep, and it's got little fur and it's adorable. And it's got, at first it's like an okay Pokemon, doesn't really do much against Swooper because it's rock, and physical attack has much to be desired for, but it evolves into Flaffy. It's got good special, and then it evolves again into Ampharos, and that thing is a beast. That is one of Gen 2's favorite Pokemon, partly because you can get it very early, and also partly because you can get it as a beast electric type Pokemon. It's not fast, but oh my god, its special will destroy not only water and flying like normal, but pretty much anything that is a giant physical beast, but its special is like meh. Ampharos will go and destroy it because the the best electric Pokemon of Gen 2, probably up until I think, was it Black and White with Magnezone? It was probably, I think Magnezone's stats are a little better, but then, Ampharos got a Mega Evolution, which is insane. Anyway, Ampharos, I'm not surprised that this got to 404. In hindsight, I should have not sold mine originally. I just needed money at the time, but that is something that I'll probably buy again, because there's only like 160 PSA 10 copies. That compared to, it's got about the same as Gym Challenge Nidoking, Giovanni's Nidoking, and Giovanni's Nidoking, the last one, I just wrote it down. It just sold for $330. Giovanni first edition PSA 10 Nidoking. That's still so undervalued. I tried to get it. I tried up until the last 5 minutes. That auction for Giovanni's Nidoking was at like 197. It was like, all right, 225. All right, 250. And then I tried it at like 280 or something. But then it went up to 330. I was like, all right, I'll let him get it, and I'll get it again once I have more money. Even if I have to pay $400 or $500, I will get more of them. I'm very pissed I don't have an extra one outside of my main set. But moving past the Ampharos, we have I'm so sorry, I could have sworn I put on the mute notifications. We had a Sabrina's Alakazam first edition PSA 10 sell for $480. I tried to get that one as well. I went up to like $420 or $450, something like that. And it just went higher. That's another one I want to get. It's a great card. Giovanni first edition PSA 10 sold for $282. Just the trainer. We had Rocket's Mewtwo. 2 of them sell. First edition PSA 10 at auction. One sold for $805. Immediately after that auction ended, someone sniped up a listing. It was $899 and like 85 cents. $900, pretty much. That's what it sold for. T18. The not as in Neogenesis Typhlosion first edition PSA 9 sold for $750. Again, that's the one that is not as rare as the T17. Misty's Gyarados first edition PSA 10 sold for $410, and I thought that would have got 330, 350, but got 410. And because that got 410, I still think the Gyarados is the Giovanni's Gyarados is stupid undervalued. I think the most recent one, I'll get to it, but it's still undervalued. Sold for like $600 something. We had Lieutenant Surge's Raichu, first edition PSA 10, sold for $305. Koga's Ditto, first edition PSA 10, sold for $250. Aerodona with Nidoking. Giovanni's Machamp, first edition PSA 10, sold for $305. Not a record price point. Record, I think, is like $330 something, but even still, the fact it's $300 is great. Brock's Ninetales, first edition PSA 10, sold for $266. Not a lot of movement there. Gym Heroes Lieutenant Surge. Well, all right, so Gym Heroes Lieutenant Surge's Raichu in Gym Challenge is a holo. It's rare in Gym Heroes. I think it's still rare. It's just not a holo. Not a very good card. Not very playable. But the first edition PSA 10, even though it's non-holo, still got $106. So you're seeing a lot of cards first edition PSA 10 in the WotC era, even if they're not holo, go over $100. Sabrina's Gengar from Gym Heroes, first edition PSA 10, $2,300. I think that was a new record price point. The last one sold for like 1.8. So that's incredible. Brock's Rhydon first edition PSA 9 sold for $128. And then a little bit later, the 10 sold for $642. So you had a PSA 9 sell for $128. And if we use my formula, 5 to 8 times, you multiply it by 5, it goes just under that $642. $642 is what it sold for, so that's perfect. Those prices make sense. Rocket Scyther first edition PSA 10, $1,775. I think the last one sold for like $1.2, $1.3. That's insane. Rocket's Moltres first edition PSA 10 sold for $770. At Rocket's Hitmonchan first edition PSA 10 sold for $237. We're almost done, guys. Misty Seadra first edition PSA 10 sold for $380. Giovanni's Gyarados is the one. First edition PSA 10 sold for $636. This should be $800 card. This should be $1,000. And I have an extra one, so I'm very happy I got it for like $200-300. Fucking noobs selling that for cheap. Erica's Dragonair first edition PSA 10 sold for $471. I think that's a record price point as well. Erica's got such cool cards in that Gym Heroes, but she doesn't have these Pokemon in real life. Erica's Clefable first edition PSA 10 sold for $355. Like, I understand. All right, I don't know if she has a Victory Bell in the TCG, but yeah, give her Vileplume, give her Victory Bell, give her everything that she had from the first generation. Gold Star Entei PSA 9 and a Dark Vaporeon non-holo from the Rocket set, first edition PSA 9. Those were in a bundle, and that got $230. That's very, very cheap, I think, for those two cards. And most of that obviously is just for the Gold Star Entei from Unseen Forces, but the PSA, that's still, whoever got that, great buy. Dark Weezing first edition PSA 10 sold for $172. Dark Vileplume first edition PSA 10 sold for $280. The Dark Machamp first edition PSA 10 sold for $288. So I got a lot from the Rocket set here. We have a Kyogre Gold Star PSA 9 from the X Delta species. Sold for $455. I think that's a regular price point for that particular grade. Another T18, two of them that sold. Both of them PSA 8. One sold for $335, and immediately right after, one sold for $425, which makes sense if the 9 is going for, $800. I think $425 might have been a little high, but it might have been a good quality card. Who knows? Giovanni's Persian. Before I go over the prices, because there's a couple of them, just two. Like I said in another video, the first edition PSA 10 only has 51 PSA 10 copies. Stupid rare. Stupid rare. Even at $2,400, that's the last one sold for. Very undervalued, in my opinion. PSA 9, there's 281 PSA 9 copies, so there's a lot, and then it goes down to a little, kind of like almost like a, I don't know what to call it. It's that like in the military, you go from E1, E2, E3, so many staff sergeants at E4, and then you go tech sergeant E5, and then, so I think that's similar to some types of Pokemon where, you have like the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, and then the 10s. We're going to, there's 98 PSA 8. So in total, yeah, there's a lot. There's about 400 of those from 8 to the 10s. But as the 10s get more and more unavailable, those 9s are gonna go up, shoot up in price. The 8 sold for $82. I think that's undervalued. I think it should be $100, $150. PSA 9 sold for $236, and that was I still think that's undervalued as well. I think that should be like a $400 or $500 card. Same for Misty's Gold Luck. That is it for today. I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.